Hey, what's up guys? Steve with Next Gen Baseball. Today I want to talk to you about base running. This is my favorite topic to teach, and I think it's also one of the most underrated parts of baseball. In this video, I'm going to go over specifically stealing second base. Some of the benefits of stealing second base is now we're in scoring position, and it's only going to take the hitter one hit to get us home and score a run, as opposed to being stuck on first base and having our offense produce 2 hits to score us. However, we need to make sure we're stealing these bases at a 75% success rate. Anything below 75% success is now going to be detrimental to our offense. If we can be above 75%, the benefits of us taking a base over getting an out start to become more beneficial. So that 75% success rate is very key. So in this video, we're going to go over some tips and tricks to look for when stealing second base. So let's jump into that video and that first tip right now. All right, first tip I have for base running is going to be establishing our lead. What we want to try to do at first base is line up with the back part of the base. We want to try and avoid getting to that front, lining up with the front part of the base, because that puts us closer in play and makes those swipe tags a little easier for the first baseman and for the second baseman. So we're going to try to be lined up with the back part of the base. From here, when we're establishing our lead, we're going to take one step. So left foot, right, shuffle, shuffle. And this gives us a good sized lead to where we're just a step and a dive back if we need to return back to the base. And it gives us a big enough lead to where I can take off from here. And this is a good, comfortable lead, and we can adjust little bits here and there. If the pitcher has a slow pick move, we can increase that lead just a little bit. If the pitcher has a quick pick move, we can decrease that move or that lead just a little bit. But a good one step shuffle, shuffle is good. Also make sure we're lined up with the back part of the base. A lot of guys, they'll get too far back here. What this is actually going to do, it's going to reduce our lead and make the distance we have to go to either base further. So if I have to go back, my dive is now a little bit further. If I have to steal second, the distance I have to run is going to be a little bit further. So lined up with that back part of the base. All right, first method of stealing second base is going to be the most common method that everyone's most familiar with, and that's going to be the straight steal. So from here, you're just getting your lead, straight steal. As soon as that pitcher lifts up his leg, we're taking off. A couple things we want to try to calculate when understanding our success rate on a straight steal is knowing the pitcher's delivery time to home plate. We're going to take that time and we're going to add it to the catcher's pop time, or how long it takes for that catcher to receive the ball and deliver that thing down to second base. You take those two figures, add them together, you're going to know how much time you have to steal that base. So all you have to do from there is know how fast it takes for you to get from your lead to second base. If that time comes in below that catcher's pop and pitcher's delivery time, you know you're going to have a 100% success rate at stealing that base. Only way you're really going to get called out is if you get a bad jump or that umpire makes a bad call. So you take those two figures, add them together. That's how much time you have to steal. Give you an idea. In Major League Baseball, average delivery time for a pitcher is anywhere from 1.25 to 1.5 seconds. Average pop time for a catcher is about 2 seconds. So that's anywhere from 3.25 to 3.5 seconds that base runners at the big league level are going to have to steal. As you get younger and younger, those pop times and delivery times are a little bit slower. And so you're going to have more time, meaning a higher success rate. So that's going to be how we're going to calculate our success rate on a straight steal. Understanding that figure is going to make you more successful at stealing those bases. So now let's say you've got your catcher's pop time, you know your pitcher's delivery time, and it turns out that those times are actually quicker than how long it takes for you to steal second base. So now you can't steal the base. So now we got to get a little bit creative. We got to try and find little other aspects of the pitcher or catcher that we could try and take it. So one thing that pitchers like to do is they like to establish rhythms on the mound. And so what I mean by establishing a rhythm is a lot of times when they come to a set, they will come to that same set and that same pause every single time before they deliver the ball to home plate. Another thing that you can look for is how many looks that pitcher gives you. Sometimes that pitcher only gives you one look before they go and deliver the ball to home plate. So when I'm doing a straight steal, I will look for those things on the mound. And if I see that that pitcher comes to a 2-second hold every single time before he goes to home plate, in my mind, I will count to 1 second before I take off to steal second base. That gives me an extra second of time to steal the base and makes it harder for that catcher to throw me out. So look for that timing and that rhythm in the pitcher if you cannot get a straight steal. That's how we can get a little bit creative. So that's going to be my first tip if the straight steal isn't there for us, is look for a rhythm that that pitcher has. Another tip that I'll look for is we want to try to steal on breaking balls. Now, how do we know if a breaking ball is coming? We don't really know. So we can actually go in counts where we have an idea of there's a good possibility that a breaking ball is going to be thrown. Counts like these are going to be when pitcher's ahead, like no balls, 2 strikes, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Those are counts where a pitcher's going to try to get that hitter out. And so he's going to go to his off-speed pitches. And that's actually going to be a good time for us to steal. Reason why it's good to steal on breaking ball counts is, 1, those pitches are slower than the fastball, so they take a little bit longer to get to home plate. 2, they tend to be more down in the zone, so that catcher, when receiving, has to stay lower in his squat, and he can't pop up and make a throw to second as easily as he could if it was a fastball. And a lot of times I can end up in the dirt, which leads me to my next point. Good base runners will start to read the trajectory of those pitches as they're being released out of the pitcher's hand. If I'm good at reading these things, when I see a breaking ball, they will start to come low out of that pitcher's hand and have a low trajectory going into the dirt. So as I take my shuffle and I see that angle of the pitch going into the dirt, I can take off from there. Those are called dirt ball reads. That's another tactic you can use to try to steal second base, is reading those balls in the dirt. Now you force the catcher to have to block that ball. He's got to get up, pick, and throw to second base. So his pop time's not going to be there. He's going to be kind of all over the place. So that's another good opportunity to steal second base. So the last tip I have for you is going to be what we call the delayed steal. When we're trying to execute we're going to be looking for if those middle infielders are falling asleep, or maybe the catcher's getting lazy behind home plate, and when he's throwing the ball back to the pitcher after every pitch, he's dropping to his knees. That's going to be a good time. So the point of the delayed steal is to kind of, like I said, lull that defense to sleep a little bit. You get your lead, and when that pitcher delivers the baseball, you take your secondary like you normally would, and then right as that ball's crossing home plate is when you take off. What's happening in the delayed steal is, before the pitch, the defense has their eyes on you to make sure you're not stealing right at the jump. But when that ball gets thrown to home plate, that defense's eyes now shift to home plate and take their attention off of you, which gives you an opportunity to try to take second base when nobody's looking. This is kind of one of those things where when you do it right, everyone kind of looks around at one another wondering how you were able to do that. And that's how we do it. We just lull that defense to sleep, make them think we're not going to take that base. The delayed steal, try to remember, is a slow developing play. We are not taking off right as the pitcher releases. We are taking our secondary when the pitcher goes in his motion, then when the ball crosses home plate. So right before it hits the catcher's glove, that's when we take off and we take second base. When you do this one just right, you don't even need to be fast. And that is going to be my final tip for you. All right, well, that's all I got for you today. Understand as well that just because if you don't steal a base, that doesn't necessarily mean you did a bad job. If you're looking for all these little tips and tricks where that pitcher knows he has to be aware of you stealing a base, that now takes his attention off the hitter and puts it on you as a base runner. So even if you don't steal a base, you can still be successful. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if I missed out on anything. And I will see you in the next video.